Hello traders, I'm doing a video, haven't done one for a while. Try to go as fast as I can here. Are we going to break out to new highs or are we going to crash tomorrow? That's the big question, okay? And I'm leaning to the bullish side. I do think there's significant reason to think that we're going to go higher. We do have mixed signals all over the place though. So give me a second here. I'm going to start with the New York Stock Exchange Composite, and we're hovering right now at a 78.6% fib fan, and we managed to almost come up and tag it today on the close, and it was almost a bullish engulfing candle today, just a hair shy of it. And so I'm really thinking, and we're right here at the top of the Bollinger Band with a Bollinger Band squeeze going on here. And so I'm really leaning to think that the NYSE, which is the broadest measure, the breadth of the markets, really is looking to push higher to at least these prior highs up here at the 10,630 area. Some things in the news today. We had Under Armour get a downgrade, and it came down, and we got a little mini hammer here at the Bollinger Band low here, the lower Bollinger Band, and we managed to get back inside the Bollinger Band. Personally, I don't think the bottom is in yet for the Under Armour, so I didn't take a long position yet. Yeah, I think there's still some more downside on that. These patterns here are some hammers which I found on my scans, and we got a little mini hammer here on Mosaic. It came pushed out below the Bollinger Band and managed to hammer back into it today. But we do have a sell signal on that bullish hammer, so I'm watching this one for a breakdown. If you put a trend line right there, it looks like Mosaic's want to go lower. BHP Bulletin looks like it wants to go lower too, and this is getting impacted by the tariffs that's putting on the government's put on importing steel. So this is another one that looks like in a bearish potential. And we do have a really tight Bollinger Band squeeze going on here, so this one could break down. Wendy's had a really nice hammer today, so I am looking to the bullish side on this one here. Keep this one on your radar. UTX, this is one that Slim had on his long ideas from his members videos, and we managed to hammer right back to the 20 SMA today. I didn't have an alert on it, or I would have bought this up today. Honeywell's another one that Slim had on his list of bullish ideas, expecting new highs, and it came down right to the lower Bollinger Band and rallied back up with a hammer. Agrarian saw Icon buying, he was accumulating this today, and it's above the 20 SMA, and we have a nice little hammer going on here, so a continuation is most likely on that. L3 Communications picked up a really nice government contract after hours, so this one here I can see, and we got a nice little Bollinger Band squeeze going on. I can see a nice continuation tomorrow. Here's a few trending stocks which managed to close above their open. TLT, so the bonds were catching a little bit of a bid today, and we got back to the 20 SMA with a Bollinger Band squeeze going on. And we are above a downtrend line, which I've got drawn in here. So keep that one on watch. Novartis here is another one that managed to edge higher today versus yesterday's close. So keep that one on your watch list. Viacom managed to close really strong today, and we're pushing the upper Bollinger Band on top of it. So it looks like Viacom is setting up for a breakout to higher highs. I'm seeing some gold stocks catching some interest today. So that's another defensive area that's catching some interest at these highs right here. And we did see a higher close on GOLD, Rand Gold. Royal Gold managed to get a higher high, and we closed right at the 20 SMA, and we are threatening a trend change on the parabolic SAR. And we managed to get a higher high on Newmont, or a higher close on Newmont, I'm sorry. Some stocks that closed above their Bollinger Band today, so they are really pushing trend here. Now, Services Now, it broke out of its Bollinger Band squeeze today. Tesoro, a refiner, it is pushing a Bollinger Band squeeze, and it is trying to break out of its Bollinger Band. Data, TableauSoft, it is breaking above its Bollinger Band, a long-term Bollinger Band today, and above the 100 SMA, trying to fill this gap. Lulu is moving contrary to the other sports apparel companies. We had Nike and Under Armour get killed today, but Lulu managed to get a nice little rally, so this might be a false rally in my opinion. And earnings are coming up here, so I'm looking for a point to possibly short into earnings. Burlington Coat Factory is another one that has defied the odds since their earnings came out. Very strong earnings, and this is a retailer, and it just continues to go higher. And I also want to mention about the Tesoro. We had oil inventories come out after hours, and there was a massive draw on gasoline inventories. So that's very bullish for Tesoro and other refiners tomorrow. I want to mention Avgo. They report earnings tomorrow evening after hours, and they have beat on the past 7 earnings straight. This is a very major weighting in the SOX. Let me show you. As you can see in the SOX here, Avgo has 11.31% weighting. So semiconductors are going to be in extreme Wednesday and Thursday. They're going to be extremely looked at for buyers to take a position ahead of the Avgo numbers. I wish to mention Procter & Gamble here because it's the biggest holding in XLP, the consumer staples. Okay, and we crossed back above the 20 SMA today on strength with a bullish engulfing candle, and we are trying to break above trend on the parabolic SAR, and this long-term downtrend, we are right on the backside of it right now with a potential for a breakout higher. So XLP looks like it's wanting to go higher, and as you can see right here, XLP is almost a 12% weighting of XLP with Procter & Gamble, so keep an eye on that. Now I'm a little concerned because on the XLY, that's the financials, Berkshire Hathaway is the biggest holding in that, and they've got a lot of exposure to all these floods in Texas, so that might impact the financials. So that's a negative potential for the markets. But we were getting, in regional banks, we were getting solid bids all day today. And if you get into the banks and away from the insurance like Berkshire, yeah, look at this right here. You got an engulfing candle on Wells Fargo ready to try to break out here. And the home builders are very strong too. And the same goes with JP Morgan here. We seem to be trying to break out of this box here. We're pushing the upper band, and we have a bullish engulfing candle on it too. And if you look at the holdings breakdown here, Berkshire is the number 1, but JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citigroup, they're all right there within, and they're all rallying, breaking out of their Bollinger Bands, where the Berkshire is holding them back because of the storms. Amazon is the top holding in XLY, and it was rocking today, but it gave it all back with a potential topping tail candle. And I know some other people who actually took Amazon today, and you see what happened. And this could be a reversal candle, but it didn't hit my I figured it was going to get up to about the 735 area before it came back, and it actually turned back sooner. So we'll see what type of strength we have tomorrow. And if you look on the breakdowns on the allocations on XLY, you can see it's a major holding in the XLY with Home Depot and Comcast and stuff down lower. And Home Depot is giving us a warning that consumer discretionary is very weak here. So we saw what happened with Amazon there, and then when you know Home Depot's right here testing these lows, you know, so keep that on your radar here. it does look like we're getting a potential cross for the MACD to turn higher here soon. So watch that. Something I like to watch is the transports. IYT and FedEx is the #1 holding, and something we got today, we got a hammer off the 20 SMA. We came down and we rallied up, back up strong here, and we have our MACD turning up, and so keep that in mind. We have a bullish signal on our parabolic SAR. That's another reason why I think we have a bullish signal there. I mentioned FedEx there because you got such a huge weighting on IYT with the FedEx versus any other equities. I also want to mention utilities, since we have so much strength in the defensive areas, and we're above the 20 SMA on it's NextEra Energy. It's the #1 holding in XLU, and we dojied out today, but we got a little Bollinger Band squeeze going on here. So I am watching this for a potential continuation higher, even though right now we do have a potential sell signal with our parabolic SAR. But I am looking for this one to catch a bid, so we'll see what happens. And if you look at Duke Energy here, you can see what I'm saying. We crossed above the 20 SMA today on strength today, and one more day here and our parabolic SAR will turn bullish with a widening Bollinger Bands. And this gives you a little breakdown of the XLU, the top holdings, the Duke and the NextEra. I didn't want to go through too many of them here. We did have comments out of the Iranian Prime Minister after hours, and they were not very bullish about crude. And let me show you that chart real quick, and then we'll call it. And so far, crude's holding up really solid despite the negative comments. And we did have a pretty good build in the crude inventories on the national reserves, but then we had a nice draw on the national reserves, the gasoline and distillate inventories. Okay, so because a lot of the refineries were shut down for the holiday and stuff like that, and that had something to do with it, plus all the huge demand from all the travel over the weekend. So basically, we'll see what happens with crude tomorrow, but right now it seems to be holding pretty well despite the negative comments. And tomorrow morning, 8:30, Draghi speaks. So keep that in mind. He might say something about the Brexit vote coming up, and that could really rattle the markets. And I think that's why a lot of Europe was selling off today in lieu of what he might say tomorrow morning. So keep that on your radar too. That's everything I got to say, and I hope you guys learned something. Be sure and tweet me if you join if you follow me on Twitter. And I can add you to my tweet group, or I'm even adding people now to my Skype group, okay? And you can actually trade with some really good traders during the day for free. And we're only looking for the best, so, but yeah, I can try you out in there, and if not, we'll just keep you in the Twitter group. But at any rate, just let me know, and hopefully we can make some money. Thanks a lot.